Hi. 14 years ago, when we moved to Hong Kong, I was just a baby and couldn't speak yet.
We were like coming from America, and I was like 5 years old and still in the process of language acquisition.
Upon learning of our plans to move to Hong Kong, Grandy was concerned that we would pick up a Cantonese accent. She had always taught her children to speak the proper English, the Queen's English. She'd had such a stance because, as a child, she was shipped off to a boarding school after coming home one day reciting a poem about a butterfly in a rather unorthodox accent.
Oh, so sad. I was putting inside a Chinese school. What? A school that was supposed to be part of the English School Foundation. Unfortunately, little did my parents know, this school, most of the children were local Chinese. So I started with speaking the beautiful language of Chinglish.
And on top of that all, a lot of the teachers in the school were Australian.
And oh yeah, my accent took off.
At that moment, my parents decided that perhaps that wasn't the best school to have us go through. So, we were moved to the French International School, where we were taught to speak English by the Brits and Parisian French by the French.
Donc, nos accents ont amélioré. So our accent slowly started to take a change for the better.
While at the school, I took numerous Trinity Guildhall examinations in public speaking, debating, drama, and poetry. As a result, I began to speak the Queen's English.
Unfortunately, I only took one such exam. I had many friends who hailed from Britannia, but after we all got into university, we decided we probably didn't need to start sounding educated anymore. So, we started to break out of this mold of a proper accent, and we started to speak the way we always wanted to. It was right exhilarating. We've finally been able to be ourselves, and it was pretty safe, innit?
At least we didn't speak in a Cantonese accent.
All jokes aside, Grandy's done a lot more than just teach us how to speak properly. Not only is she one of the most strong-willed and independent women we know,
but she has also been an amazing inspiration for traveling.
This inspiration all started for me when I was 11 years old, when she, along with Auntie Mary, took Mika and me to Italy for 2 weeks. Later on, when Emily turned 11, Grandy took Emily and Cole, again along with Auntie Mary, to Greece for 2 weeks.
Both trips are still engraved in our memories as one of the best trips of our lives.
Not only did she take us on our first trips away from our parents, but she was also with us when we went to the most remote part of the world we'd ever been to, Bhutan.
There, we were able to create our own travel stories with her as we were immersed into a completely new world. It was incredible to share our experiences with the most well-traveled person we know.
She actually turned out to be quite a lifesaver. After we got back to Hong Kong, Mum accidentally deleted all of her photos off her camera. Luckily, every time Mum had stepped out of the car to take a photo, Grandy was right behind her taking exactly the same photo. Just from a slightly higher point of view.
So we didn't really lose too many photos from that trip, but we can now say that not only has Grandy inspired us to travel, she's also taught us to bring a camera with us everywhere we go.
This inspiration will culminate for me in 2014, when after I graduate from my undergraduate, I will take a year off and travel the world and hopefully see some of the places Grandy's talked about. And hopefully while I'm out there, I'll be able to walk across either Spain or Portugal at least once.
Her inspiration has led me to believe that I can, one day, have the chance to visit all 7 continents. I just have 2 more to go.
Grandy has gone down in history amongst my close group of friends as the world-traveling, motorcycle-riding grandmother.
While the rest of our friends talk about how their grandmothers are doing the more mundane things, we get to say that ours is often Bulgaria, or Antarctica, or Argentina, seeing all the wonderful things the world has to offer.
In fact, On more than one occasion, I've had a friend walk up to me and ask where in the world my grandmother is. And I can safely say that about 80% of the time, I'm not entirely sure myself.
But one thing is certain. Whenever we've been in Vancouver for the summer, she's always been here for us. The memories of making that ferry trip across the island and staying here for days and days will always be cherished.
From going on wikes, not quite a hike but slightly longer than a walk, to Bob's Knob when I was 5 years old, to camping out on the deck of her house to watch the meteor shower.
From the Christmas we lost the dog to the summer we crept up on deer in the front yard.
From playing badminton on our front lawn to exploring the shrubs around our house.
From playing with my dad's old farm set at night and reading his old storybooks before bed.
From watching her set fire to the toaster oven, to enjoying a forever delicious roast beef and Yorkshire pudding dinner.
From lounging on the hammock to walking around the Saturday market.
And the list goes on and on. The first memory I ever have of camping was when she took me out to Ruckle Park. It poured and it poured with rain, but it was still an amazing trip.
The first memory I have is touching a smooth tree next to her house, listening to her explain why the bark was so smooth. I now know that the tree is called an arbutus tree, again, a result of her teaching.
So needless to say, she's been a huge part of our life, and we can only imagine the stories we'll have to tell in the next 20 years.
To finish it off, we'd like to read the first stanza of that poem by William Wordsworth that she so beautifully recited to her mother so many years ago. Grandy, this is just for you.
I've watched you now for half hour, self-poised upon that yellow flower, and whittle butterfly indeed. I know not now if you sleep or feed.
How motionless, not frozen seas, more motionless. And then what joy awaits you when the breeze hath found you out among the trees, and calls you forth again. So, on that note, if everyone would like to raise his or her glass with us as we say a toast.
Happy birthday, Grandy. Thank you for the memories both shared and created.
We love you to bits.
Happy birthday.